Hello class 9 students, I am Ain ma'am. Today I am going to discuss the chapters Physical Features of India. We have already discussed it in previous audio clippings, but today we will again discuss this chapter because it has already included in your half-yearly examination. So I think you have already read that chapter. It's okay. So you have some idea about that chapter. Why we will read that chapter, physical major physiographic divisions of India or physical features of India. Why we will read this chapter? You already know that our all continent or all over the world there are different types of landmass, and the lands are not so even in all parts of our continent. Some parts are covered with mountain, hill, some parts are covered with ocean water and plain area in which area we live. So if we imagine that our globe is covered by different types of physical landform and physical features, so we have to read that there are different types of physical features and landform mainly in our India. So basically in this chapter we will read about only our country on India. Okay, so let us start. Everybody follow this map. Actually, the land of India displays a great physical variation. Geologically, if we know, then we have to gain that idea that Peninsular Plateau, peninsular part you already know, this portion, this lower portion of the India is known as Peninsular Plateau, because you know that peninsula is that type of region which region is covered by water from three sides, on this side and this side. On the left side, on India has Arabian Sea. And the right hand side, the Bay of Bengal is situated. And in this portion, the lower portion, Indian Ocean is located. And this portion, fourth portion, is joined with the mainland, right? So which type of landform is covered by water from three sides? That land is known as peninsular land, and fourth part is joined with the mainland. So this peninsular plateau constitutes one of the ancient landmass on the earth's surface. And the Himalayan and the northern parts, this portion is known as the unstable zone. Why unstable zone? Because you know that this portion is mainly covered with different types of mountains, peaks, hills. So sometimes we hear that some earthquakes or landslides occur at that area, but it is very uncommon in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and this type of region. So that's why this portion is known as unstable zone. And you know, this mountain system of Himalaya represents a very youthful topography. Why? Because every day, you know that tectonical movement and plate movements are is a daily basis incident. So all the day, all the time, some portion of the Himalayan mountain and different types of mountain is either increasing in height or decreasing with height. So this is a youthful landform. But this portion of this Indian map is not youthful. This is a very ancient landmasses. This is a very ancient landmasses on the earth surfaces. And the Peninsular Plateau is composed of igneous and metamorphic rocks with gently rising hills, because at that portion which hills are seen at that portion, suppose Eastern Ghat, Western Ghat, at that portion different types of hills are seen, but the height of that hills are not so much tall than this portion mountain. So that's why this is known as gently rising hills, and this portion has some igneous and metamorphic rocks. Okay, so now the physical features of India can be divided into 6 different types of categories. If it will come that what are the major physiographic divisions, because there are many divisions. Okay, if this term is mentioned that write major physiographic divisions of India, then only you will write this type of division. Number 1, the Himalayan Mountains. Follow this Indian map. I have tried to symbolize this part. This portion, black, which portion I have demarcated with black ink, that is known as the Himalayan Mountain. Okay, and I have demarcated it number 1. This portion is demarcated as the Himalayan Mountain. Next, the Northern Plains. This portion, number 2, which portion I have identified with green ink, that portion is known as the Northern Mountain. Next, number 3, the Peninsular Plateau. Okay, this portion I have demarcated with number 3, but number 4, this portion is known as the Peninsular Plateau, because you know that this triangular shaped portion is known as peninsula. So this 4 number red ink, this portion is known as the Peninsular Plateau, and in the western portion, in the which have demarcated with number 3, that is known as the Indian Desert. And what is the name of our Indian desert? You already know, the third desert, which is located on the state of Rajasthan. Next, the coastal plains. This portion I have demarcated with blue ink and tried to symbolize it with grid-like symbol. So that portion is known as the coastal plain. Next, the island. This portion, island, you know already that which land is totally covered with water. From all the side, this portion is covered with water. So this number 6, this portion is known as the islands. Understands? So this is the main physiographic divisions of India. Now we have to discuss one by one each and every physiographic division. At first we will discuss about the Himalayan Mountain. I have already told that the Himalaya is a young and structurally fold mountains, and it has stretched from west to east direction. The Himalayan mountain is stretched from the western portion to the eastern portion, not west-east direction, from the Indus to the Brahmaputra. And the Himalayas represent the loftiest and one of the most rugged mountain. Different types of heights have that type of mountain, okay, and they have steep valley, and all the time that mountains are covered with snow, so that are known as rugged mountain barriers of the world. And the distance is about 2400 kilometers. Their width varies from 400 km in Kashmir to 150 km in Arunachal Pradesh. Now, the Himalaya consists of 3 parallel ranges in its longitudinal extent. Now, we will discuss about that 3 parallel ranges. Number 1, it is known as Himadri. Number 2, it is known as Himachal. And number 3, the lowest most portion of the Himalayan mountain, it is known as Shivalik. Okay. So there are mainly 3 types of part of the Himalayan mountain. Number 1, the Himadri. Number 2, the Himachal. And number 3, the Shivalik. Okay. So Himadri, if we want to discuss about the Himadri, it is the northernmost range of the Himalaya. And it is also known as the Greater Himalaya. It is the most continuous range consisting of the different types of peaks and with height of 6,000 meters. Okay, and in this portion, in the Himadri portion, we can find the composed of granite, and it is perennially snowbound. The main characteristics, it is snowbound because all the time it is covered with snow. Then composed granite. Okay, so these 2 things are the main features. Now the range lying to the south of the Himadri, that is known as Himachal. In this portion we can find some rugged mountain, and the Pirpanjal range we can also find in here, and it is the longest range. The Dhauladhar and the Mahabharat ranges are also prominent ones. This range consists of the famous valley of Kashmir. So in which portion of the Himalaya the Kashmir valley is located? Answer will be Himachal. Okay. And there are different types of hill stations are also located. Okay. Next, the outermost range and the southern portion of the Himachal, this portion is known as the Shivalik. They extend over a width of 10 to 50 kilometer. You have to read that 10 to 50 kilometer. These valleys are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. Thick gravel and alluvium. Why, you know? Actually, I have discussed that Himadri is the northernmost portion and that is snowbound. Why snowbound? Because different types of glaciers can be found at that area. And the main origin of different types of mountainous rivers from this area. When the river's water comes from that area, Shivalik is the lowest most range at that area. So that time the river's waters or the glaciers come with some gravel, pebbles, silt, sand, sediment, etc. And at that portion gathered here. So that's why when they also takes many time to form or to gather from layer by layer. So when that at that portion, Shivalik portion, that portion, the soil is known as alluvium or alluvial soil. This is the important thing of that area. The longitudinal valley lying between Lesser Himalaya and the Shivalik are known as dunes. This is important for short question. What are the examples of dune? Dehradun. Many of we have gone that area. This is a famous tourist spot. Then Patli Dune. So these are the examples. Okay. Besides the longitudinal divisions, these are the major physiographic divisions. Okay. Himadri, Himachal and Shivalik. But if we consider on basis of longitudinal divisions, if it is mentioned that longitudinal division then there are different types of division. What type of division? The Himalayas have been divided on the basis of regions from west to east. West to east. These divisions have been demarcated by river valleys. And this major physiographic division is demarcated by altitude or height of the mountain ranges, and this longitudinal division is demarcated by river valleys. For example, the part of Himalayas lying between Indus and Satluj has been traditionally known as Punjab Himalaya. Okay, but it is also known regionally as Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya from west to east respectively. The part of the Himalayas lying between Satluj and Kali rivers, very important, okay, is known as Kumaun Himalayas. Another part, Kumaun Himalayas. So you have to read that thing. What is Punjab Himalaya and what is Kumaun Himalaya, in which portion it is located. The part lying between Tista and Dihang rivers is known as Assam Himalayas. Assam Himalayas. Okay, and there are regional names also in these broad categories. The Brahmaputra marks the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas. Very important short question. The Brahmaputra marks the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas and covered with dense forest, the most run as parallel ranges and valleys. In this portion we can find some parallel ranges and valleys. Because why valleys? Because this portion has not so much altitudinal height like Himadri. So as an example we can say Manipur hills, Mizo hills, Naga hills, these are the example. So these are the main characteristics of the Himalayan mountain. So this thing is completed. Nextly we will discuss about our second point, which has demarcated as the northern plains. On the first portion we have discussed about the Himalayan mountain. Now we will discuss about the northern plains. Why this portion is known as northern plain? Because you have already that idea. Because from the Himalayan mountain, when some river water come, then they carry some sediments. When the sediments gathered at that area, then northern plain has been formed by the interplay of that major river. And there are three major river systems, namely the number 1 Indus, number 2 the Ganga, and number 3 the Brahmaputra. These are the major three tributaries. This plain is formed of alluvial soil, and I have already discussed about alluvium and alluvial. Okay, and this portion has formed over 1 million of years ago. Formed of this fertile plain, it spreads over an area of 7 lakh square kilometer. Okay, and it is a densely populated physiographic division. These are the main thing. This portion is densely populated area, because if any portion the alluvial soil is found and these three river systems are also noticeable, so the main thing, what are the basic of our need? The food, the shelter and the water, okay, and the clothes. So in the soil, in this fertile soil, we can easily grow our agricultural needs, and the river water, 3 major rivers are there, so we have also enough water for use. So that's why this portion is densely populated. I don't know this is written or not, but this type of question may become, why northern plain is densely populated than the Himalayan mountain? Then you have to write like this, okay? And it has favorable climate also, adequate water, and it is a agriculturally productive part of India. The rivers in their lower course split into numerous channels due to the depositions of silt. These channels are known as distributary. The rivers in their lower course split into numerous channels. Acha, one thing you have to know, suppose this is a main river, okay, and when some channel goes from that channel, actually the main channel split into some sub channel, then that is known as distributaries. Understand? When any small channel or sub channel goes from split into from that channel, main channel, then that are known as distributary. But sometimes if some channels joined to the main channel, then joined with the main channel, then it is known as tributaries. So this is the main difference. Never forget it. When some channels split from the main channel, actually which channels are going out, that are known as distributaries, and which are coming from and joining with the main channel, that is known as tributaries. Okay, so this is the main difference you have to know. And the northern plains is broadly divided into 3 sections, or there are also 3 sections. The western part of the northern plain is referred to as the Punjab plains. So number 1, Punjab plain. Okay. Next, formed by the Indus and its tributaries, the larger part of this plain lies in Pakistan. The Indus and its tributaries, the Jhelum, the Chenab, these are the tributaries, okay, and the Ravi, Beas and the Satluj originate in the Himalayas. This section of the plain is dominated by the Doabs. These are the important part of the short question. The Ganga plain extends between Ghagar and Tista rivers. According to the variations in relief features, the northern plains can be divided into also 4 regions. The rivers, after descending from the mountains, deposit pebbles in a narrow belt of about 8 to 16 km is width lying parallel to the slope of the Shivalik. It is known as Bhavar. So you also have to read what is Bhavar. In the study material we have already discussed it. What is Bhavar? All the streams disappear in this Bhavar belt. South of this belt, the streams and rivers re-emerge and create a wet, swampy and marshy region known as Terai. This was a thickly forest region full of wildlife, and in this portion Dudhwa National Park is located. The largest part of the northern plain is formed of older alluvium. It lies above the footplains of the river and presents a terrace-like feature. This part is known as Bhangar. So from the northern portion of plain area, you have to read about the what is Bhabar, what is Bhangar, what is Doab, and what is Terai. This portion you have to read. And yes, you also have to read the Khadar, the younger deposits of the flat plains. You have to read it. What is Khadar? They are renewed almost every year. So each and every year that portion is renewing, and so that are very much fertile. Because all the time, you know that the Himadri at the Himalayan mountain, they have some perennial river, because all throughout the year that river has water. So when the perennial rivers come with that area, so day by day, all the time they are coming with their sediments, with their loads. So this is a ideal for agriculture. Okay, so these are the main characteristics of the northern plain. Next we will discuss about the Peninsular Plateau. Number 3, the Peninsular Plateau. I have already discussed it, that which portion is known as the peninsular. This portion, number 4, this portion is known as the peninsula. Why peninsula? We have already discussed. So it is a tableland. Why tableland? Because at the very top portion of the hills or the plateau-like area is like a flat surface and looking like the uppermost part of the table. So that's why this portion known as the tableland, and it is composed of old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. It was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land. Okay, so in which process this portion was formed? Then you have to write the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land. The plateau has broad and shallow valley and rounded hills. Rounded hills means this type of hills. They have neither so much high altitude nor steep valley. They are looking like a rounded shape. Okay. And if we follow, then this plateau consists of 2 broad divisions: the Central Highland and the Deccan Plateau. Number 1, the Central Highland, and number 2, the Deccan Plateau. Now we have to broadly discuss these 2 things. The part of the Peninsular Plateau lying to the north of the Narmada River. So in which portion Narmada River is located? In the Peninsular Plateau, the Narmada River is located. Okay, in this portion Narmada River is located. Covering a major area of the Malva Plateau is known as the Central Highland. The Vindhya range is bounded by the Satpura range on the south and the Aravallis on the northwest. So these are the main 2 hills of that area, Satpura range and Aravalli hills. The further westward extension gradually merges with the sandy and rocky desert of the Rajasthan. In this portion, it is merges with the Rajasthan or the third desert. So this is the mixing zone. Okay, understand? The eastward extension of this plateau are locally known as the Bundelkhand and Baghelkhand. The Chotnagpur Plateau marks the further eastward extension drained by the Damodar River. So in this portion, different types of rivers we can find, like Narmada, Tapi, Kaveri, etc. Okay, you have the map book, I know. So if we follow, then we have to find that In this portion, it is noted as Tapti river. This is known as the Godavari. In this portion, from this portion, Godavari has originated. Next, this portion has Tungabhadra. Understand? And this portion is demarcated by Krishna. And where is the origin of Kaveri? In this portion, the Kaveri river has originated. So when you will read this chapter, then must you have to follow this map. Okay, because in this map, different types of places and different types of ranges are located. Look, in this portion, it is Vindhya range, it is Satpura range. Okay, and this is known as Malva Plateau. The Great Indian Desert is located at that area. We have demarcated though. In number 3 portion, look this portion. This portion is looking like the Great Indian Desert. So when you will read this chapter, you must have to follow this book. Next, the Deccan Plateau, the another part, it is looking like triangular landmass that lies to the south of the river Narmada. And there are different types of hill ranges are seen from west to east, like Garo, Khasi, Jaintia, different types of hills you have to read. Now the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats mark the western and the eastern edges of the Deccan Plateau respectively. Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat. The Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats. Their average elevation is 900 to 1600 meters as against 600 meters of the Eastern Ghats. The Western Ghats are known by the different local names. The height of the Western Ghats progressively increases from north to south. The highest peaks include the Anaimudi, very important, and the Dodabeta Mahendragiri is the highest peak in the Eastern Ghats. Okay, these are the very important question. One of the distinct features of the Peninsular Plateau is the black soil area known as the Deccan Trap. When you have read about the soil chapter, then we have discussed about the black soil. And we have read that the cotton is well grown crop at the black soil, right? Why black soil? Because these are formed due to the lava deposit, and this is volcanic origin, hence the rocks are igneous. I think you have that idea. Suppose this is a volcanic mountain and this is a vent. You know that at that portion there were magma chamber, right? When the magma goes through that portion, this is the opening of that mountain. There is ash clouds. At that portion, some things are gathered. These are known as lava. This is magma chamber, and when they goes out from that portion, this is known as lava. Okay, so at that portion, when they solidifies and cools down, then the igneous rocks are formed, and these totally process are known are seen in at that area, the Peninsular Plateau area. So that's why this region has the igneous rocks. Actually, these rocks are denuded over time and are responsible for the formation of black soil because of the lava deposition. When they cools down, this portion, when they cools down and solidifies, then the color turns into the black color. That's why this is known as black soil. The Aravalli Hills lie on the western and the northwestern margins of the Peninsular Plateau. These are highly eroded hills because the erosional features are seen at that area and are found as broken hills. They extend from Gujarat to Delhi in a southwest northeast directions. Okay, and look at the map. This is the Aravalli range. I don't know this is seen or not. This is Aravalli range. at that portion this Aravalli range is located. So today we have discussed about the northern mountain, the Himalayan mountain, the northern plains, the Peninsular Plateau. On the next clippings, we will discuss about another 3 parts, the Indian deserts, the coastal plains and the Indian islands. Okay students, I think you all are clear. Thank you.